everybody, welcome to my channel. I wanted to give a proper feedback to the 9th Age team regarding the new Infernal Dwarves army book, and I thought rather than just write a long post with the summary of what I experienced during the couple of games I played with the book. Actually, I was able to play almost 20 games, I guess, with the new book, so I've tried out almost every unit. I would rather produce a video and then share it with you, because it can be as well interesting for you to hear a little bit about my experience. So I will try to go through the book and say a little bit what are my updated views on the different units. Unfortunately, I have to do it already now. I would have liked to wait until the first weekend of July, but I just heard from the 9th Age team that they might do a new version of the book, an update of the book before, so I thought it's more important for me to give them a feedback before this date rather than waiting until the July to give a complete feedback, because I will be playing a live tournament in July with a new list featuring new models, so I would have liked to include this test as well in my review, but unfortunately it's not possible, and I think it's better that I am able to give them a feedback as soon as possible. So yeah, our new Infernal Dwarf book. I won't go too much into detail regarding what I think about every weapon and so on. Quite happy about the hereditary spell. I think it's really interesting, especially if you play with the flammable synergy. So really happy about that. 2 or 3 words regarding the special equipment that I've been able to try out. I think the Onyx core is in a good state right now, because all the mobile character cannot really get the strength 6 with multiple wound D3. I think that's a good aspect to still give a purpose for the people, an incentive for the people to play him on foot in order to have the strength 6 multiple wound, which is always good in the meta, especially at the moment. A triple speed, I've been able to use it several times. It's not bad because it's give a way to have a lot of attacks. It's especially used, I've heard a little bit on the Bastion, why not, to give some attacks, additional attacks and shots on the Prophets. I think it's a good weapon, but still quite expensive. Or alternatively in some matchups for the Overlord. Flame of the East, I still think it's a bit expensive for what it does, in my opinion, but it's a good way to add some additional attacks, for example for a Prophet on a Chariot or something like that, so why not. The Mask of Age, it's a good tool. I've been using it on the Bastion. I think it's strong, maybe a bit too strong on the Bastion, but I think that's more related to the Bastion himself rather than this equipment option. But I guess on the bulls, I've been thinking a lot about it. Can be great, but still a bit expensive. If you play it on a small bull, this means that you will only have a 3-up armor save. So 3-up armor save and 5-up ward save is not that great, defensively speaking. And still with 4 life points, health points, you don't want really to risk your expensive character against some cannon shot. So I'm not so sure that's a very good option. I would consider it playing on the Great Bull, maybe. I don't know, but still it will be a very expensive model, and I'm not so sure that you want to expose this kind of model. On the Great Bull it could be feasible because you have ward save and a lot of health points, so you could say I take the risk 1 turn, I have Mask of Age, ward save 5-up, let's take a cannon shot and then I can go into combat. So in the Great Bull, I could see why not. It could be a way to play it, and I guess this would make the Great Bull a bit more attractive. So why not? I haven't tried this out yet, but on the Bastion I found it quite effective. The Blaze of Protection, I haven't used it yet. I think it's very restricted. I don't like really much the item that need to restrict on which type of model it's available, because I think then only on infantry, I don't think that's so attractive. I think that would have been something, for example, very interesting for the Tauric Commissioner, but he has an access since it's infantry model only. So if you want to restrict it for a couple of models, I don't know, maybe the Big Bull and so on, why not? I can understand, because it gives them +1 armor save. But yeah, maybe I would give it access at least to Tauric Commissioner, and maybe also Tauric Ritual character. I don't see really a problem with the use of this item. Kindly Mining, love it. I think it's good, really good. It's useful on the prophet on the chariot, for example. It's useful on the Toruk ritual character, on the Toruk commissioner. Why not? So I think it's a really good item. I used it several times. Then we have the wolf. I've played it twice, never found really a use. I don't know really what to think about the wall. I will not give additional feedback on that because I really don't know. I played 2 times and I didn't find a use. It can be probably powerful. I don't know, to be honest. I expected it to be very powerful and I haven't found myself in a situation really to use it now. I haven't played a lot through, so I don't know, to be honest. Trail of Ashuk, I haven't used it yet since still the design's a bit odd and I think people will prefer to use other way to have magical resistance. Breath of the Brazen Bull, I've used it on a Toruk character. I think it's a good way to give him a 4th health point, and breath attack, toxic attack is always good. So it's a good balanced item, well balanced, and the restriction to Tauring presence makes sense. And the rest, I haven't used it that much. The Luga dice, I like the way it works. I found it at the beginning powerful, but still you will... Yeah, I thought you might use it a lot, but I think it's not really the case. In theory, you might have a lot of reroll. In practice, you will reroll 1 or 2 key dice roll during the game. Still useful, but not that overpowered. And yeah, the gauntlet restricted to infantry as well. I don't know, I think it would be useful to have it on the commissioner to make this model a bit more attractive because I think it suffers a bit at the moment. The Overlord, I was really excited about all the options. To be honest, on Toruk Ritual, it's almost a 600 point character. Very versatile. I think there is a good reason why is it an expensive character, so I can totally follow the pricing. But it's still quite expensive and therefore I think it's balanced. It's a very good tool, Swiss knife, you can choose the weapon, a good defense and so on, but still only 3 health points is a weakness. I faced multiple times when you face, at the moment you see a lot of multiple wound, range attack option, for example, Mark for Doom, Silver Spike, and all the other war machines and so on. So you have a lot of ways to deal with multiple wound because I think it's something that you need at the moment in the meta. And therefore, I never found myself so comfortable with only 3 health points, so I've paid multiple times the Breath of the Brazen Bull to make him a bit more viable, and I had some success with. I found it's an interesting option, but still, yeah, it's quite an expensive model with the Toruk Ritual. So flexible, interesting, but chaffable, and 600 points for it. Not so cheap. The Bull of Shamut, playing it at the moment in the outro and in some games that you saw on my channel. Interesting, because you're in the same price area as the Toruk Ritual, defensively speaking a bit less powerful, but offensively better. And I think that's what you're looking for with the Overlord. So not chaffable, an additional health point, and additional 4 attack, so you're not afraid into being stuck while being stuck in combat with a lot of combat resolution. So I really liked the option of the Bull of Shamut. I think it's still a decent character, but not over expensive. And the Great Bull, I haven't used yet. I wanted to. I love the model, but still I'm not so comfortable to play with. Only 5-up armor save, 5-up ward save. You're very sensitive to a lot of things in the meta at the moment. I'm not so comfortable to play with this combo, and still it will be quite an expensive model, around the 700 mark, probably more if you feature the Mask of Age to make him a bit more viable. I think it will be very heavily targeted, and the one time I played the Great Bull with a Prophet on it, he died early due to my mistake as well, but still I think it's quite sensitive, and I'm not convinced by the variability of this choice, to be honest with you, at the moment. So either I would consider maybe dropping a bit the price, however I'm not sure that's the best way to go, or maybe change a bit something. I'm not so convinced at the moment by the Great Bull of Shamut. I understand that the team have been doing a bit of effort to augment damage output, but still, I'm not feeling so confident to play with a model with a 5 armor save, 5 ward save. That's only my personal view. I didn't say it at the beginning of the video, but I mean everything. It's only my personal view. So yeah, if you if you don't agree with me, no problem. I mean it's only my view. The Prophet, I mean, that's great. I think a lot of flavor due to the possibility of customization. So I'm really happy about what they did here. What can I say? At the beginning I tried a lot the Kadim Chariot option. It's good, but still lacks a little bit of reliability in combat. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but you understood what I mean. You don't have a lot of attacks. A good part of them are flaming, so yeah, and you don't have a good mobility to move around the battle line. It's a good option, well priced, but I wouldn't pay, for example, a master on it. I think with an adept it's still a decent choice, still a bit sensitive, but playable. A native catch, I've been using it a lot. I think the Bastion, it's probably overpowered at the moment. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not so fan of the mechanic of being able to shoot 360. I think that's still a bit an odd feeling for 9th Age, for the way we like to play the game. That's my opinion. I understand the design to make a tower and make the possibility of all the guys to shoot 360. I understand the way they thought about it, but I would maybe reduce it to 180 grad could be a possibility, for example. I don't know, the fact that you can combine Martian shoot with the Bastion, 20 model shooting, 260, that's a bit too much in my opinion. I would either, maybe a way to reduce a bit the power level would be to reduce the march rate of it. For example, to make it 3.6, for example, would reduce a little bit the total range of it. I think that could be a good way to adjust a little bit the power level, or to increase point. Of course, it's always a good way. I don't know whether the team has decided or not to go into the design as well, or just to adjust the points. But I would recommend maybe to change the design if they might consider it, for in particular the way these things can move, shoot very far away in all direction, and that's a bit too much to my taste. But yeah, I think it's a good feeling when you play with it. It's powerful, it's solid, but still expensive. It's, I mean, 1/4 almost of your army list that goes into this unit usually. And that's when you play an adept. If you play a master, it can go even to a bit more. So it's still very expensive, but very resilient. And then the Shamut option, I've been trying Great Bull of Shamut once, hadn't had too much success. I still think between the fact that you rely a lot on the Great Bull attack, which are flaming, divine, but flaming still, and the fact that, yeah, what I mentioned before with the armor save and the resilience of the model, it's still a bit too sensitive. I don't know, to be honest. Of course, Occultism is very appealing on this model because you have an easy access to 4 ward save, you can heal, so I get that. But still, I found difficult to really, and that's also valid for the Bull of Shamut, I found difficult to really profit from the fact that it's a master mounted on it and that it should be powerful magic, because with Occultism, you struggle to find good position. I mean, with no boost range, Gravecall you can just forget, because 12-inch you will never get to that. Mark for Doom is good, but that's maybe the only single very powerful spell that you can cast with your master, because then you have, yeah, Breath Weapon, of course, some things, but no high strength. So if you want to deal, for example, with a monster, you have really Mark for Doom, and that's it, more or less, for 600, or maybe it goes to 800 something if you pay the Great Bull of Shamut option. So I like the model, I like to play with it, to be honest, but I'm not so sure that it's worth it when you're thinking about how much it costs with the master. I've had some success and I found it interesting when I chose to play an adept of Occultism on the Bull of Shamut. I still think that's a very good option to have a fighty mage with decent combat capabilities, cheaper than 500, so not too expensive, and still possibilities to profit from magic. So I love this model and I will for sure play it again. Let's move on the Vizier. Been tried several configuration. I think it's nothing in particular to say about it. quite happy. The Toy Commissioner, for me, it's in a bad state at the moment. I don't see where I would feature this guy at the moment in an army list. I understood that the lab team tried to not to make him a cowboy option. Okay, I can get that if you don't want to make him a cowboy as an available playstyle for him. But then, still, it's quite expensive. I'm not a big fan. Okay, the rule, yeah, why not? It's an incentive to play him in an anointed unit, but I'm not convinced at all. And I don't see really appealing builds because also of the loss of the armor save 1 in the profile. Yeah, I'm not convinced at all. I think it's quite difficult to have a lot of attack with him as well. Yeah, it's not so easy. One thing I was thinking about was to play, for example, him with the Onyx Core and then try to profit within a unit of Tauric Anointed, but this will be a very expensive unit because the fact that you need 5 rank and file model to give him Lookout Sir, that means an unit that will be very, very expensive, like 1/4 of your list. So yeah, that's maybe a bit too much to my taste. And I don't really see how I would play him, to be honest, at the moment in one of my lists. So a bit disappointed with the model. I think something needs to be changed in this model, either in the design or to drop points. I think that could be a way as well to make him a bit more appealing and see if the player try out, if the player want to play more, if it's maybe a couple of points cheaper, why not? That could be a way to go. Conjurer, great option. Happy to use it sometimes. I've tried several options on foot, mounted. I will try it soon with the how is it called? Essence of Free Mind Pyro Witchcraft. I thought with an adept, mounted on Vassal Steed, not too expensive, versatile. I like the idea. I will see what happened with this model, if I'm happy or not. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this possibility. It's a cheap piece of chaff. But you need to be careful because it's not that resilient. Almost no armor save. Only a 6-up when mounted and no resilience. So you need to be careful what you do with it. But I still like the option. Still like it. So I'm quite happy. I didn't saw that many lists featuring him. I was expecting a bit more, especially as a piece of chaff for 160 points with a spell. But yeah, still you need to make some choice within the list. And also Vassal's Cavalry have the argument with the old skin, all the tools, and also some additional combat capabilities and more resilience to shooting and blast. They have some arguments, and I saw much more Vassal's Cavalry as Vassal's Conjurer. So that's good to see. That was something that I expected to see a bit more. Yes, I talked already about the option core experience. The Infernal Warrior with Blunderbuss with the Bastion. I still think, in my opinion, it's the best way to play them because you want your Bastion unit to be resilient, and the fact that you can have shields or parry, 3-up armor save is really good. I really fancy this choice rather than Citadel Guards with Flintlock with the Bastion. That's my point of view. I don't see at the moment very much use of the Great Weapon option. Yeah, the fact that the Overlord doesn't give any more hatred to his own unit. I think that was a major hit to this unit with Great Weapon, who profit a lot before to be a quite cheap hammer unit with the Overlord. At the moment, I don't see them being used that much with Great Weapon. Citadel Guard, I've been trying a lot. The unit with Pistol and Spear, liked it. Quite expensive. Powerful with all the rules, but still quite expensive. I see at the moment, I think that the Bastion unit for core choice, it's more powerful as going Citadel Guard in core, and I didn't see that much a choice of Citadel Guard unit with spear, big block with spear in the Ocho, for example, list. So I don't know, it's still for me a decent choice, but not as overpowered as what I hear and what I feared at the beginning from the feedback I was able to read. So it's still an expensive unit when you play a couple of bodies. Very resilient, good in combat, quite happy, but I'm thinking at the moment that it's quite well balanced in my point of view. Yeah, it has a lot of rules, of course, but still with pistols, I mean, it's only 12-inch shot range, and then you need to be careful in combat, not getting crushed. So that's the experience I made, for example, in a practice game against Hibonels, when this unit I went forward, shoot, and then at the end I was crushed in combat. So still need to be careful. It's still only strength 4, but I like this option with the spear, and I think with Flint Axe there are still people who fancy this option to have a block of 15 who can shoot and is decent in combat. And I like this fighting explorer rank rule, and think it's a good addition for this unit. Vassal levies, not so fan of it. I've been trying various configuration. They are decent. It's simply not too much my taste, but they profit really well from this rule, old skin. So I think they feature sometimes into lists thanks to this old skin rules, and they have decent option. I think the pricing is okay, and the vassal chipstone option is good and make them interesting. Playing them at the moment for my ultra lists, I think it adds a bit of shootings, and you can be a bit far away from the leadership bubble in general, which is also a good feeling for playing some scenarios. So it's okay for me. Shaken Slave, yeah, I love them. I think they are giving a lot of option. They are good chaff. They can kill some chaff. They are cheap. They are giving the battle focus from shooting. So yeah, I like the idea. I don't know if they will see some changes because they lost a bit in combat. The fact that they have only strength 3 and weapon skill 2, but that's not too much if you consider the role of killing chaff or chaffing and giving some help to other units. I like the synergy and so on. It's a bit complicated the way it's written. It's a bit too much text to my taste, but that's something that's valid for some other entries to the book. Maybe they will go up slightly in price because maybe at the moment it's a bit too cheap for everything they offer. Immortals, I've been playing them in several battles. I like the way they work. I've been playing them with Great Weapon. The fact that you have parry is good thanks to Great Weapon, but you lose your 3-up armor save and you go to a 4-up, so we'll take a couple of more casualties. But still a good unit with bodyguards, still, yeah, they are still good. I'm not so sure that I see them as powerful as I saw them when the book was released, and in fact I didn't see that much list featuring them again in the outro. I saw some big blocks. So yeah, basically you want to say, come in my unit, you will never break me, with a very good character in it, understand that, but still it's a lot of point which doesn't move that easily, in the battlefield. I think they fulfill quite good the role, the fact to be very resilient, so I'm okay with them. Disciples of Lugar, they are very powerful in my opinion. They are very, very good Swiss knife with feint flight. The Pact of Fire that you can activate or not. I prefer them with Great Weapon. I saw several players playing them with Paired Weapon as well to have a lot of attacks and weapon skill 5. I saw a little bit of Litigator as well, still a bit less appealing to me. But they are good. They are probably a bit too cheap at the moment for what they offer. They are a good way for me to have a mobile scoring who can do some damage in combat and be quite resilient thanks to the number of bodies and the ward save 5-up. So I'm really happy about the design. There are maybe, I understand the people who say they are too cheap for what they do. I can get that. However, I don't see them being filled that often in lists, to be honest, to my surprise. So either it's a feeling that I have for having playing them to think that they are really good, or it's something that the people haven't tried out that much. I don't know exactly how to give a feedback about this unit, but I found them really versatile, very good scoring unit. So yeah, I'm happy about them, and I think it's possible that they will get a slight price increase. Maybe, I don't know what's the rest of the feedback. That's a bit my impression. I think it's a very good choice in special, and at the moment at the beginning I was really willing to say, yeah, Immortal is the way to go in special. It's a very resilient unit, never wounded, better on 4+, it's amazing and so on. But still, Immortal have their weakness when they face normal unit, for example, who are not here with a high strength but a high number of attack. They can be killed. And I think the disciples have much more versatility. They can go into combat with also with big unit, even a big character or strong single model as well. Because of, for example, if you go strength 6 or if you go with Pact of Fire, try to go reroll to wound. They have all these options, which make them really interesting and always a good choice because of the versatility. So you can either profit from the flaming attack or decide to go high strengths. You have a lot of options with them. I haven't been profiting too much from the Feint Flight option at the moment. I still think that's something completely new, Feint Flight for big block. This can be powerful. I haven't been able to really profit highly from this rule, but I still think that's a very good rule that they've been giving them, and that also gives a lot of flexibility to this unit. Incarnate. I think it's problematic the fact that they have only AP1. I mean, you have Volcanic Empress AP0 and AP1 with strength 5 attack. I think that's not enough for them, to be honest. So, two ways to go: either change the design for me or drop a bit the point to say, okay, that's a cheap unit, so it's only AP1, but still can do quite a bit of damage against some units if you choose a good target. So drop a bit the point. Why not? I haven't tried them out yet, so yeah, that's the aspect that's the view that I have based on paper. I'm not really able to judge them. Maybe a unit of 3 could be useful, since you cannot chaff them and they can do some damage to infantry and not too strong unit or unit that don't have that much armor. So why not? But still a bit conditioned by the fact that you have automatic flaming attack. It's also, sometimes a bit annoying. Can be annoying or can be countered by some build or ward save against fire. I think we see quite a lot of them in the meta at the moment. So yeah, I would suggest a slight drop in price. Canim Chariot I've been using a little bit, but I didn't see that much people playing it at the moment. You're a bit limited by the fact you have only movement 6, so it's good that you can profit from the battle focus on the cannon beast and reroll the charges. I get that, and the Lugar good damage output, but still very sensitive. I mean, with only armor 2 and 5-up Aegis, it's very sensitive to range damage. You can easily die, but still it's not so expensive. So a decent choice. I don't know why we didn't see them more often. I think it's because of the internal competition. I think that the Lugar are definitely better. The Immortal are definitely better as well for me, because the Kadim Chariot doesn't have that much more added value. You have a bit more charge range, but still it's not crazy to have 6. So yeah, I don't know exactly what to give as a feedback for the unit. I tried this out. I haven't been able to. Yeah, it's still on paper. It's decent for the price you paid, but still a bit too fragile in my view. Enforcer are fine for me. Not that much to say. I think they are balanced. If you go for a bigger unit, it gets expensive, but still a decent choice. Yeah, okay. Anointed, still too expensive in my view. I like the way they go. They don't have that much attack, but still good defensive, good offensive. But they don't have parry anymore. They get this additional impact hit, but a bit less armor than before. And still, if you pay a unit of 6, I mean, it's crazy expensive. If you go full option shield, infernal weapon, it's really expensive. The only thing I've been trying out and considering at the moment was to pay for per weapon unit of 3 musician. It's 335, not overly expensive, a bit mobile, but they suffer from the reducement of the mobility. And I think, as a big block, they are really expensive, big footprint, so not so easy to field. Too expensive to my taste. That's all I can say at the moment. I would suggest the team to reduce the price, see if people feel them a bit more. I would maybe go for 280 base cost and maybe 80 additional model to see if it's, or maybe keep the base cost and maybe just drop it slightly to 280, something like 280 or 90 seems fair, and then drop a bit more heavily the extra model, maybe to 75, to encourage a bit more the people to field the bigger unit of Anointed. Why not? I mean, that was the motivation from that's what I perceive as a motivation from the lab team, was to give an incentive for the people to play a big unit with the character in it. So I think it could be a good way to encourage people of fielding a bit more of a unit of 6. And I have personally like 12 model of Anointed from Forward that were very expensive, that I still need to paint, so I would be happy to get the motivation to try them out in a list once in a while. Would be cool. The Lamassu, I didn't see him that much in list. Almost never. I guess in no auto list no auto list, I guess. So yeah, I tried once or twice, found it interesting. To my taste, it lacks a bit something in combat. Before, if I remember correctly, it had a breast weapon, which was good to make the model a bit more able to take some combat. Here, with only 4 attack, I'm really afraid to go into any kind of combat. So basically you are flying in the back and just casting some spell. But to do that, I don't really see the point of taking a Lamassu. Actually, if it's only to go around and cast some spell, you can take either, if you want to go Witchcraft, you take a Vassal Conjurer, who is at the same time cheaper and easier to hide or put into a unit, or just a normal mage. So here you just take a sensitive mage to not really profit from the fact that you are not chaffable and that you can go into some combat. So here I think we have a small problem with the design. I would either give him back some kind of breast weapon, or maybe find a way to boost a bit something, but I think that's quite limited, the profile. I think give him a breast weapon would be the best way to go, even if that means a slight increase in price. But at the moment, I would be quite scared to go with him, because basically we would move in the middle of the battle. You are not that resilient, first of all, because he lost as well the magical resistance, which thinks that was a really good rule on him before, and that was also a good reflection of the fact that the Lamassu is a magician and anti-magician at the same time. So I think it misses a lot the magical resistance and breast weapon. So I would consider bring back some kind of breast weapon, even if that means an increase in price, and even why not give back magical resistance too, even if that means go back in price again. So that's my point of view. Vassal Cavalry, they're great. I found them a bit expensive at the beginning, but they are all options included, and with the option of the Vassal Chieftain to get extra range for the leadership, it's not bad. So yeah, quite happy with this unit. I always field one, because you have the option to chaff, to make with the Vanguard to block some things, to use the old skin as well. So I'm really happy about them, and they are decent in combat. 15 attack strength 4, 5 attack strength 4, and 10 attack strength 3. It's not bad to kill some chaff and to do some damage. So quite happy about the Vassal Cavalry design. Slingshot are good. I like them as well, versatile, and they have the option to give some good flammable token within a good range as well. Gun with him, I'm a big fan at the moment from the Titan Mortar option. At the beginning I was like, everybody, let's go rocket battery is the way to go, 4 shot, multiple wound, it's crazy and so on. But I think the Titan Mortar is more reliable, actually. The fact that you don't suffer from cover is great. And especially the range with the gun with him. I liked the Candy manifestation option. I think with Bolt Thrower, with the reduction of strength and armor penetration, that's at the moment a no-go. So either drop the price for the Nafta Thrower to make it at least 20 point cheaper. Maybe some people will field it. But at the moment, I don't see why I would include an After Thrower. Titan Mortar, it's quite good. Maybe a slight increase for the Candy manifestation, I would understand that. And Rocket Battery, I think it's okay. With the price, I've been trying this. Not so easy to kill things with only Strength 5 and AP2. But it's still decent because it's cheap and it can move. So I think I'm okay with this entry, and I like the fact that the gunnery team is attractive. I think both destroy are quite attractive, but NAFTA thrower, it's a problem at the moment. Yeah, artillery, what to say about that? The problem is you have advance 0, meaning if you are out of position, you are out of position for the whole game. But it's compensated by the accurate. Still think that it's less appealing that the gunnery team and the infernal engine option to have mobile shooting, because it can be put out of position. I think with a very good strategy and planification, maybe you can put it in the right place. But yeah, I try it with a Titan mortar and rocket battery. The fact that you have a low range means that your opponent could be able to find a way to cast spell or to be within shooting range to damage them. So that's not so easy. That's not so easy for these two for these war machines. Maybe the NAFTA thrower is interesting as well. The fact that you have 24-inch back is interesting. But I mean, yeah, if you make a bad placement, basically you will get charged, and with the base round, it's always very scary to get charged, and then all the possibilities of overrun that this gives. I would be quite afraid to field one of the NAFTA thrower with the base and the fact that you cannot move if you made a mistake. So yeah, I'm a bit asking myself if it's really a good idea to have put advance 0. Maybe advance 3 would be better. I didn't see that much NAFTA thrower in list, or even Titan mortar, not that much as well. A bit more rocket battery, because with accurate you have a good way to shoot on 3+ on long range, so you can counter a little bit the fact that you have the cover. Maybe a way to go would be to increase. Maybe why not give extended range 12 for everybody? I mean, for the NAFTA thrower, would it be too powerful, or maybe 9-inch? I don't know, but I think they should find a way, because field your NAFTA thrower in the first line could be really scary, as I'd mentioned, and it's a big base and so on. Maybe +9 would be a way to go, and also this would help Titan mortar to be a bit more in the back line. So maybe +9 would be a way to go. I would try to change a bit the design to give slightly better range for these two weapons. I think rocket battery is fine. Okay, the tank, infernal engine. It's balanced. It's balanced because it's not too expensive. I saw multiple options, maybe a bit problematic with the steel juggernaut. The fact that you lose quick to fire make it less appealing. The only option to consider would be NAFTA thrower, but you only shoot up to 18, which is problematic. So I still think steel juggernaut, it's a bit problematic at the moment. Would it be too powerful if it still had quick to fire? Maybe because you gain some fighting capabilities. I would not be against letting quick to fire and then increase the points. I think that would make it a better monster in combat. Still good in shooting, so you can move, shoot, and so on. And then just increase the price. Why not? I mean, why not? Could be an idea. I don't know if they wanted the design to make him a more resilient monster, a bit better in combat, but that cannot move or will not move in most of the cases. Maybe a way to go could be as well for NAFTA thrower to increase little bit the range. I still think with 18 it's difficult to play it, and for the other two they don't like to shoot with -1 for the movement. So I think still Juggernaut they need to think a little bit about changing the design. That would be my way to go, even if that means price increase and a better monster. That would be the way to go for me. Regarding the rest, I think it's okay. They balance it well. The fact that it has only defensive 1, it's problematic in some combats, and yeah, I think it's well balanced for me. The rest I wouldn't change anything. I think it's okay. Bastion, talk about it already. Kalim Titan, it's a good choice. I mean, it's a good choice. Still sensitive. It has some straightforward counters. I mean, if you have ward save against fire, or if you have divination, or things that can do a lot of wounds. Yeah, with 5 up, it's problematic to save when you get a lot of wounds in. So against the saturation spam of damage, it can be problematic for him, but still he has 7 health points, not too expensive. The loss of frenzy was huge. You can really be mobile with him. So I'm quite happy about how the Kalim Titan works at the moment. I have no complaint. I wouldn't change anything at the moment, to be honest. Either change the price or the design. I think it's fine. I like the way they change it, and yeah, fine with it. Giant, that's an option I haven't been tried out until now, and that's really the fact why I wanted to wait another 2 weeks before making this video, because I will be playing a Citizen Giant with the Tower Shield option in a tournament the 4th of July. I haven't played it yet, so I cannot really say too much about it, but Tower Shield seems powerful. Distracting, hardcover seems really good, a good way to go. Maybe needs a slight price increase. However, we didn't see a lot of lists featuring them in the outro, for example, which is a bit at the moment my reference, because all the big countries, most of the big countries are taking part and have been thinking about how to make the best ID list. I see a couple of them with Tower Shield. I guess that's the option that people took. The flaming option, I have never seen a list with it, so I think that would need I would go to up 10 or 15 points on the Tower Shield and less 10, less 15 on the Vaneb Blessed Maul. I think that would be my suggestion for this model, but as I said, I haven't played it yet, so it's kind of difficult to give a proper feedback. That's just my feeling and impression. Would be happy to hear what people have been thinking when they've tried this model, because for me it seems a good way to have a good decent monster, good armor, so quite resilient against some low strength damage, good lateral mobility. So I love that. I love the way it works. But yeah, that was just when you compare these two options, for me that was straight away. I saw straight away that Tower Shield seems really the way to go, and seems a bit better than the other option to be priced at the same level that the other two options. That's just my... Okay, that was it. Tried to not make it too long. Still really wanted to give my feedback after like 20 something battles with the ID. I love to overall, I love all the options. I think internal balance is quite good, except one or two changes, one of two options. Externally speaking, I see a lot of complaint. To be honest with you, it's kind of bothering me, because it's almost like you don't want to play ID anymore, because you see all the people saying all the time, overpowered. Okay, I can get that, but try to give proper feedback rather than just whining on the forums. And I've not been reading anymore the ID forums with all the ID chat and feedback, because it has been a bit too much complaints for me to read about, not too constructive, just saying it's OP without suggesting anything, and without giving some proper example from battles which turned out in a cruel way because of the power level of a unit. I think it makes no sense just to write down, yeah, it's too powerful on paper, it's too powerful, you can see what they do, it's too cheap, and so on. Okay, but just give concrete example. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment also with my battle report, to give really example of what a unit does on the battlefield, damage output and so on, to see really what it does. Because I mean, some of my views, as you've probably remarked, between the first video that I did with my friend Strauss from Team Belgium have changed from the first read of the book, the first practice battle, and until now. I've been trying out new stuff, and I've been seeing things that at the beginning I was saying, yeah, that looks really great, powerful, appealing. I've been playing them, and afterwards saying, yeah, okay, it's okay, but still a bit that fragile, and so on. So you don't see all the negative aspect by just reading the book. You need to play it, play against it, and try also to make the difference between, was it a mistake from my part that caused this situation to happen, or was it really the power level of the unit that caused the huge imbalance in the game? I haven't seen so much crazy result at the moment. If I would have to suggest one thing that, in my opinion, problematic, overpowered, or needs to be redesigned, is the Bastion. I think that's something we can almost all of us agree to. And then something that I would definitely change in the way of giving some buff or redesign it in a better way would be Toruk Anointed, Kadim Incarnate, of course, definitely Kadim Incarnate. That would be probably my number one. Then I would put the Anointed in some way. And also, why not the Lamassu? Because I was quite excited at the beginning, but after some tests, like I said, I just seen myself moving around with the Lamassu, giving the boost, and doing almost nothing, because you cannot go in combat with 4 attack, 2 strength 4, 2 strength 5. So that's something I would consider if I can suggest something to the lab team. Okay, that was everything. I hope it was interesting for you just to hear a little bit my experience with the Infernal Dwarf book. I will try to make a new video once the new version of the book will be released. I guess anytime soon, in a couple of weeks probably. They don't have a date or something fixed yet, as it's often the case with the 9th Age. Thanks to the team for working on the book and listening to all these feedbacks, giving us the opportunity to give some feedbacks and taking them into consideration. I appreciate really that, and I think we are moving forward in a good direction. I was a bit afraid of the complexity level of the book at the beginning. I think if you've played with it a couple of times, it gets not too complicated to understand. Still, I think it's something that to keep in mind for the 9th Age staff overall. Try to reduce the complexity level of the rules and to not include too much text and too much rules, to make it straightforward and not too hard to understand for the people who want to play for it, with it, or against it. I think that's something to always keep in mind if it's possible. But at the same time, I understand the fact that you want to give flavor, and I think this book has plenty of it. So that's really positive. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video. Talk to you soon on my channel with new battle report. Bye bye. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.